Hmm.
What is up, guys? Teddy Cornwell here. Welcome to the Underdog Talk, the world's most underrated podcast. But you see him, ladies and gentlemen, LAA, repping on the chest. The sports agent who's done the most lately, who just got Dalvin Cook paid. Zach Hiller, what is up, sir? How you doing today, man?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man, and congratulations on that deal. And I was just reading that Dalvin Cook is the highest paid running back in the off season. So that just shows what you're capable of. So well done, sir. That's pretty
Thank
darn
you.
impressive.
Yeah, obviously Dalvin's an incredible football player, so it's really all him. It makes everything easier when the guy's just a great athlete and great person. So,
Yeah, and when they're a stud, it just helps. Now, I have $1 million question, and I've got to ask this: can you tell us, your journey to becoming a sports agent, and what inspired you to pursue this career of all careers?
I kind of like fell into it when I was in college. I started promoting parties, and over the summer when everyone would come into New York City for their internships, I became like the party promoter and threw all like the best parties, like thousands of people show up and everything. And there was an agent who lived in my hometown, and he had heard about it because like not only were like clients coming, but his kids were also coming and to my parties. And he reached out to my dad because they had known each other just from being in the town together. And he was like, "What's Zach want to do in the future? And does he want to be a party promoter his whole life?" And obviously, that was never the intention. It was just a way to obviously pay for school, make money, have a good time. Um, so when obviously I heard that he was interested in bringing me on to learn that industry, I jumped at it, and it didn't work out with him, but it worked out in the long run. Learning what I needed to learn, and ultimately finding a client to believe in me, and that was it.
That's how the cookie crumbles, I guess they say. Now,
Yeah.
what does a typical day in the life of Zach Hiller or a sports agent look like, sir?
There is no typical day. I would say it's just you know whatever I can take care of, I take care of as far as for my clients, for the company itself, expanding, looking for opportunities for the clients, looking for opportunities, as far as new clients. It's no day is the same. There's no typical day, I would say. I don't have like a, wake up at this time, make, this and then be done at this time because it's not how it works. You're at least the way that I operate, my clients are my family, and I'm in contact with them 24/7, and anything that's going on in their world, I'm here for them to be a resource. And life doesn't stop, right? So it could be 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 2 a.m. Doesn't matter. I'm there as I would be for any of my family members. So.
So you're like Dwayne Johnson from the Hustlers, honestly. That's kind of your life, always on the go. Now, what qualities or skills do you think are essential for a sports agent and to be a successful one like you, sir?
I think as far as like skills or whatnot, I just think being determined and being trustworthy and just driven, right? I think when you're dealing with obviously just anybody talented or successful, right? It might look easy for them, but it's not easy. They woke up, they did the extra rep that nobody else was going to do. They went through the daily grind that it takes to get to the top of your profession, and you just have to be willing to give that as well. And I think that's why it's just determination, really. You know, not willing to be outworked, because that's the type of people that you're dealing with. You're dealing with people that even though they're dead tired and they're just dreading that one extra pump, that one extra curl, that one extra deadlift, like they do it. Then that's what separates them from being as great as they are and a professional athlete and somebody that's just good.
I guess that's how you stay ahead of the game and continue to succeed in such a dynamic field. Obviously, that is such a highly competitive industry now. How has the role of a sports agent evolved over the years, especially with this influence of technology and social media being such an important breakthrough for signings and all of the stuff that's happening in these athletes' lives?
I think that, social media has made it easier to, I guess, like, kind of just like contact and reach out. Um, but, you know, I think ultimately you got to prove that you want to, represent somebody and that you want to guide them through success. And so I don't think technology has really impacted, you know, what I do that much, except for the fact that it's made athletes, I'd say, more marketable with social media and whatnot, and more influence. And my bad, I just got like a text. That's the other thing. I get text every 5 seconds. Like, ultimately, my clients are the most important thing. I don't, I love podcasts and just like obviously talking about how somebody could do what I do and whatnot, but they're the most important thing. So like when they text
100%.
when they text me, I answer. Um,
That's Zay Flowers. Say what's up. Rookie of the year, baby.
All right, and yeah, my bad.
No,
Yeah,
you're good. Hey, answer those texts if it's
no, we're
genuine.
good. Yeah, we're good.
And obviously, could you walk us through the process of signing a new client and what factors do you consider when deciding to represent an athlete?
I think as far as I look for really, really, genuine, loyal people at this point, because I think that's who's going to be successful also. Because they're loyal to what they do, right? They're going to wake up at 7 a.m. again, right? Even though they're super tired, they know that they have to because somebody else is going to. So like, I'm looking for a specific person because I can tell who's going to be successful. You can be super talented and a great athlete. If you don't love what you do and you're not loyal to it, you're not going to get us to the level that you're capable of, like that you're obviously, and what I'm looking for in clients. So I think that's the most important thing. And the person itself, I need to be able to communicate with you. Need to have a relationship that you understand that like I got your back, and that I'm there and I'm going as hard off the outside of what you do off the field, quote unquote. Um, so I expect you to go as hard on the field, and that's the relationship, and that's how we win together.
You win together, you lose together. And obviously, in recent years, we've seen discussions around athletes' rights, mental health. How do you, navigate these topics and how do they impact you as a sports agent?
I mean, I'm in constant communication with my clients, so I know everything that's going on in their lives outside of football, in football, everything. After every game, it's constant. Going back and forth on just every single play, every snap, what they thought. And they're people, right? So there are mental health issues, I would say, just that any person goes through. Like, they're human beings. It's just communication and being an outlet for them to talk to. And I think that's what I would look for in an agent. And I think that's what's become a responsibility of agents now. It's like being that resource. So I constantly am in communication with my clients. So I think as far as all of that just comes natural to what like LAA and myself do. We're there for our clients. They're our family, just like you would be there for your family.
100%. And what was the process of getting Dalvin Cook to be a New York Jet? Like, obviously, they were in talks with the Dolphins, and everyone is hearing outside noise. But what was the actual process of getting him to be a New York Jet? If you would mind even sharing kind of how that went down, because I didn't see him being a New York Jet, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, from what it sounded like, he was going to Miami, and then
Yeah,
obviously he's a New York Jet now.
there was just interest from tons of teams, and you feel each team out, and you feel just the level of actual interest, and the Jets were just a great fit. That was it was a process. There was tons of communication, to make sure everybody was comfortable on obviously the financials and the role and everything, and then they invited him up for a visit, and it was an incredible visit. I mean, I don't think that they set it up to be as amazing as it was, but like, it was awesome, right? He showed up there. I had done a couple, interviews, and he had done a couple interviews, that he just wanted to feel valued. And you walk in there, and then these fans are just chanting his name and going crazy for him, and you could feel it was real. It wasn't like it was like, oh, okay, like it wasn't like on like a sitcom or something where they're like, hold up a sign now, it was like, it was real. Like people were screaming his name, like we love we love you to be here. And even everybody in the building too, they were cool. They were like, yo, like this is what we're doing. We're going for a Super Bowl. We want you to be a part of this. Like the vibe was just there that they were all about Dalvin, and that's what was important to him. And obviously his role as a football player was important too, and he saw a great opportunity to succeed on the football field. And yeah, that's just how it came together. So obviously thankful to the Jets and the Johnson family, and we were able to make it work, and everyone's ecstatic, and we'll see how things play out in a couple weeks.
Well, we had Connor McGovern on, a good friend of ours, starting center for the Jets. So he's going to be behind a good center in Connor, who's going to rock out for you. So you get one of the best centers. Now, what advice do you have for aspiring sports agents who are looking to break into the industry?
Just go for it. I mean, just go for it. If you want to be in the industry, this whole NIL thing opened the gates to any college athlete can hire representation. You got to start somewhere. So, find somebody that believes in you and represent them, and you do your best and see what comes of it. Right. And it only takes one. Once you have one client and, you do right by that person and they're successful, people hear about it and then people start reaching out to you. So, I just go for it. If this is what you want to do, every college athlete can hire somebody now to handle their marketing, their management. This is a huge opportunity that wasn't there, especially when I was in college. They would scare the athletes. Like I was obviously interning at an agency at that point, and I wasn't. I was like a disease on campus. Like people that knew I had that internship would like stay away from me if their friends were like football players. They didn't want to be near me. They didn't want to be seen near me because they thought like even talking to me, they would get their friend in trouble. It was crazy. Where now everyone understands, like these guys deserve to get paid and they're getting paid, and, go help them out. And that's how you can break in.
Now, what are some common misconceptions people have about the work of a sports agent, and how would you address those misconceptions, Zach?
I mean, I think you'd have to tell me the misconception so I could, I guess better answer that question. I would say the biggest misconception is like they're human beings. So like when they want money and they want to be compensated for what they do and what they're worth, like yes, I understand that they're being paid, more than the average salary, but at the same time, everybody should get what they're worth, right? And maybe just having people understand that they might be making more money currently than what you are making, but remember, right, like I understand that you're a fan of the team and this and that, but there's somebody on the other side with way more money than that athlete has. So just keep that in mind. It's way easier for the person on the other side to write an extra couple of $1 million check than it is for that athlete to go sacrifice his body for less than he's worth. Like that, especially with the values of these teams today. Everyone that owns a team is a billionaire. It's not the salary cap is completely fake. They can pay whoever they want to pay. They can pay them as much money as they want to pay them. Obviously it's business too, but just keep in mind that these players are, they have families to feed, and they put in they sacrifice their lives for this opportunity. They should be paid accordingly. So I think
Yeah,
that's the biggest misconception.
I totally agree on that. Now, lastly, can you tell us about a particularly rewarding or challenging moment in your career that had such a significant impact on you as a sports agent, Zach?
Nothing's like jumping to the top of my head as far as like challenging or whatnot that like I could really, think about. I feel like I I'm a figure it out type person. So anything that arises, I just figure it out, and I move forward. Um, I mean, if there was anything I could think about, it'd probably go back to Dalvin's rookie year, and he's leading the NFL in scrimmage yards, and he's absolutely tearing it up for the first like 3 games, and even in the fourth game, he's already got like 80 yards in the first quarter. He's about to like house, an 80-yard touchdown, and he just blows his knee out, like tears his ACL, like just by doing what he normally does, and like so that was kind of just an eye-opening experience and moment, like okay. And we got it taken care of. We went down and got 2 days later. We were out you're down in Pensacola, Florida, getting surgery, and I was in Pensacola for the next 6 weeks with him rehabbing his knee, and then obviously he bounced back and became the all-star Pro Bowler that he is, and got the second contract. But I would say that it was just you could be on top of the world, and one step, things change, and then you figure it out. So I would say that.
Now, I do have one final question, and that's involving J.K. Dobbins, who obviously is one of your guys and one of the best running backs in the NFL. No questions asked. What's next for J.K. Dobbins, if you wouldn't mind talking about that?
I mean, he's currently a Baltimore Raven. As far as what's next, that's kind of I don't really I don't know what sense. What's up?
I thought he was sitting out for a little bit.
No, he's not. He's currently a Baltimore Raven. That's really as far as what's next. We'll see day by day. He's an incredible football player. He carried the team last year. He ended the NFL season last year, the last 4 weeks, led the league in rushing yards in the playoffs. He had 100 and something yards. They should have given him the football on the 1 yard line. They didn't. What's next? We'll see what's next. He's fresh. He doesn't have the tread on him as other backs would have, and he's just a rocket ship trending upwards as far as what's next. He's an animal.
Hey, I love that. He is an animal. I'll give him respect where it's due. Now, before we go, the floor is yours. Where can we find your content? Where can we find, LAA sports and entertainment? Do you guys have an Instagram? Where can we find all that?
Yeah, Instagram is at LAA Sports ENT. And then obviously the Twitter is as well. And then my Instagram is at Zac, Zac Hiller, Hiller, along with my Twitter account. But yeah, the Instagram is at LAA Sports ENT. So LAA Sports and Entertainment. And thank you. And what else we got?
That's it. And for all the athletes who are watching, Zac's the man. If you guys need a good sport agent, hit him up and make it happen. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Hey, until next time, guys, Underdog out.